Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmie from Emmie Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So I'm going to be doing an energy update for the collective whole. I asked the collective energy what this update was going to be about, and there's major swings that are occurring. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to look at that, okay? Let me just get these cards shuffled. How's everyone doing today? What's the energy like? Hey, Derek. What is the energy like where you guys are at? Are things starting to calm down for you, emotion-wise? Or are things still kind of cray-cray? Cray-cray. I've totally been trying to refocus myself on things that can help to soothe me. So I've been unpacking. Whoever thought, well, no, I'm going to be really honest. Packing, unpacking, cleaning, sanitizing, organizing, those all give me my zen, especially sanitizing things and reorganizing. I love moving furniture. I don't know what it is. If I can't move myself, I'm going to move furniture. No, I'm not interested in moving anytime soon. Who am I kidding? I'm very satisfied with where I'm at. I just need to finish unpacking is what it is. Oh, shoot. I threw the rubber band. Okay, guys. I'm almost done. Kind of, sort of. So, yikes. If you guys are not yet aware, there is spiritual mitosis occurring. And with spiritual mitosis, that's when two sides are formed, two poles, and then there's a polarization that occurs where some goes to one side, some goes to another side, and then the division occurs. So I think that's kind of what's happening right now with humanity at large. There's two poles of being. Because I'm choosing to side skirt any type of racial topic, I want to say these two polarities are two different sets of consciousness. One that wants progress, that wants us to move forward in the path or the journey to equality, and the other just kind of wants everyone to be quiet. I don't know. Maybe I'm too much of an optimist, but I can't really sit here and say that I believe someone, if they knew all of the facts, which I believe most of us don't really know what the facts are. But I'd like to think that there is no human who, if they knew all of the facts, would hope for us to stay stagnant, because that's kind of where we've been stagnant. There were major progress that was made a couple generations ago, and then after that progress was made, it seems like humanity at large kind of was just like, well, that's good enough. Isn't that good enough? Ooh. Yes, Derek. Throughout this whole process, I've been avoiding social media because of the rage inside of me just wants to just jump out. But I remain calm and at my center of peace and not feed that lesser density of vibration, and just continue to focus on what I can do and also help in ways I can. Yes, I'm right there with you. So we have this right here. It looks as though we're needing to bring our energy back to us. We're needing to refocus on what it is we are here to do. Okay. Whether here to do for this week, here to do for this lifetime, here to do on a soul basis. It doesn't matter. We need to really figure out what it is we need to do for ourselves. And it's my hope that whatever it is you need to do for yourself will translate as something that is helpful for everyone around you. Okay. Because all the fishies are looking. We're all kind of looking at each other, looking to each other to see how to properly process what's going on. And it's becoming very difficult because, again, that polarity is being established and amplified. Ooh. I think what is amplifying that polarization, the separation, is not really us, the people. Okay, I think it's something else. Card number 30, the perfection of your life. What this card is talking about is oftentimes we like to present our life, our experience as one way, but in reality, it's not that way. We like to put an image out of like a very polished image, like we have it together. We're living a life that other people should be envious of. And in reality, there's a lot of, well, the way I usually explain this, there's a lot of fires within our life, and it's almost like everything is being torn down, but we like to try and focus on the areas that aren't, that we can show other people that everything's fine, but in reality, we are just crumbling inside. That's what this is about. It's really time for us to begin allowing ourselves to exist in our authentic truth, meaning we don't hide the things that other people wouldn't find envious. That whole sugar-coated existence, it's done. This is the finish of that. We no longer can do that. There's so many important things for us to focus on within our lives, our personal life, our society, like our cities, neighborhoods, and also, the greater whole, which is the world. Card number 20, Oblivion. Open your arms. You have to free fall back into your greatness. You have to allow yourself to embrace all the parts of you. I think part of the reason we have so much issue in this world is we have zero problems projecting onto other people the ugly, the disharmony within us. It's time for us to stop doing that. Okay, it's time for us to really hold ourselves accountable for the situations we co-create. And instead of focusing on what the problem is, identify the problem and find a solution. It's not just enough to find a solution. You also have to implement that solution. So that's what's happening right now. You have to open your arms to receiving the kind of messages that you need to help you get past wherever it is you're stuck within your mind, within your heart and emotions. It's time for us to move past the anger. Moving past anger is not ignoring there's an issue. If you cannot temper that anger with focus and intent, it's useless to you. Okay? Anger definitely can serve a purpose, especially rage. If you know how to temper that rage and make it into, for lack of a better word, righteous rage, where it's for a purpose and nothing is going to stop you from accomplishing whatever that intention is, that's a good thing. I mean, unless your intention is to hurt other people, then that's not a good thing. But if you can temper your rage to push you beyond your point of fear, you can get a lot of things accomplished. And rage is not just like, I'm fucking pissed off, let me find someone. No, rage is like, fuck this shit. I'm not going to participate in this shit anymore. I'm not going to be scared that other people are going to tell me that I'm wrong and that I'm this and that. No, I'm finding a solution and I'm implementing that shit. No one's going to stop me. And I'm going to do this without shame, without fear, without guilt. I'm not going to hide this away. I'm going to make it known. I'm looking for change. I am that change, and I'm going to implement that change. And I'm going to inspire as many people as I can, because fuck this shit. That's the same. That's productive rage. Okay? That's productive rage. Whereas rage, as humanity defined it right now, let's break things. Let's beat people up. That's not productive rage. That just adds, it compounds the issue that's already existent. Okay. Card number 1, Sun Spirit. A lot of fiery solar energy. A lot of fiery solar energy. This is what humanity is experiencing right now. This fiery energy has the ability to sustain life, grow life, or destroy it. Okay? Or destroy it. We have to be able to allow ourselves to swing from the rage and the grief, because both are an expression of basically one emotion, unheard emotion. So many of us don't allow ourselves to hear how we're feeling. And I mean, that's a choice you can make. You're definitely free to do that. But does that help you? Does that help cultivate a life, an existence, an experience that will grow you in a gentle, compassionate way? And, not all of us can grow in a gentle, compassionate way. Okay, it would be nice. But understand, no matter how hard you try, some of us, we need to grow. The only real way we allow ourselves to grow is through adversity, through challenge, through the highest levels of challenge. I myself am one of those people. So we can't necessarily allow ourselves to make it a goal to just have nothing but sunshine, butterflies, rainbows, and unicorns, because that's ridiculous. This is real life. Okay? This is real life. We have to allow ourselves to experience the full range of motion and emotion. Okay? This concept of, no, you don't get mad. Don't allow yourself to get mad. That's not spiritual. Just turn the other cheek. Show them more compassion. The first person you need to show compassion for is yourself. And if you have a knee-jerk reaction, you have to give yourself enough compassion to allow that experience. You don't have to shame yourself. You don't have to, make it as though you're a horrible person, because you deserve to have a knee-jerk reaction, a very organic reaction to something, especially when it comes to things that are very, very unjust, things that are a very brutal abuse of power. You absolutely should allow yourself to have an organic emotion to that. You can't tell yourself, well, it's okay. It's not okay. It's really not okay. And so it's about freeing yourself to have the most organic type of experience, one where you're not constantly telling yourself, you can't feel this way, you have to feel this way, you have to say this, you cannot say that, you cannot appear this way, you have to appear this way. That's sad. That's another form of enslavement, one even worse than physical enslavement. Mental and emotional enslavement sticks with you. You don't even need anyone else to police you, because then you're doing it yourself. It's at that point you are doing it yourself. That's sad. You have to allow yourself to recognize when you're doing this to yourself, and to free yourself, to allow yourself to exist in a very natural state. If you are an angry person, you are an angry person. There is no shame in that. But you do have to, with that recognition, begin to modify your behavior so you're not just lashing out at people who have nothing to do with the wounds that caused your anger. If you guys have watched my live streams for enough, you'll see people be like, oh my God, you're an angry person. Did you think I was jolly? I have sarcasm and humor to help deflect some of my anger, but I'm a fucking angry person, and I'm not ashamed of it. And I guarantee you, if you've lived the life that I've lived, you'd be more than angry. You'd be destructive. So instead of pointing out the negative aspects of who I am, fucking applaud the fact that I'm still productive, that I'm still wanting to love people, wanting to inspire people. And this is how you guys have to be, where you take control of how you see yourself and have no shame for who you are. Oh, you shouldn't be ashamed, Emmie, you're an angry person. No, I'm actually a very proud person because of the fact that despite my anger, I'm fully functional. I'm very compassionate. I'm very patient. And yes, I am an angry person. And no, I don't have to explain to you why I'm angry. Just know I've lived through things that have given me reason to feel this way, yet I am still productive. I'm not ashamed. And you guys don't have to be as well. I don't care if you've lived a silver spoon life and you have you have a reason to be angry. There's something that happened that made you an angry person. Stop trying to downplay it. Stop trying to justify why people are right and proper in trying to shame you for who you are. Celebrate yourself. You might be angry, but are you productive? Are you still loving? Can people still count on you to show up when they need you? Then celebrate that shit. We've become a society where it's like, we have to tear them down. We have to tear them down. We have to, it's this group, it's that group, blah, 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 blah. Like, no, it's us, all of us. We've been complicit in some way with the circumstances that have caused people to be angry. We have been complicit. It is not just one community. We have been complicit in some way. We have been complicit in some way. So now we have to address the inner child. Part of what's going on right now, part of the rage is that the inner child is feeling very affected, is feeling possibly very afraid, very unsafe. And these are things we need to address. Okay, these are definitely things we need to address. There's happiness, there's growth. There's a need for us to understand everything that's going on right now with this pale purple. This is activating higher levels of our crown chakra. The more pastel the color, the more higher the level of frequency. People think that colors that are totally in your face, bold and vibrant, mean high energy, high frequency. It's actually not that. The more pale the color, the higher the frequency within that range of frequency. So we have the potentiality to make this a happy thing. We definitely, just like with hummingbirds, they constantly have to find nourishment because they move around so quickly that they burn up so much energy. In this period that we are in, our consciousness is moving around so quickly. We need to constantly find sources that help to replenish us, that help to support our belief in the goodness that will come out of everything that's happening right now. You guys, for every new beginning, there has to be an ending. Something is ending right now, and we are determining what is going to end. If we're just going to lash out, if we're just going to say it's other people, if we're just going to be very quiet because we don't want other people to know what we think, you are complicit in the selection of the ending of our freedoms, the ending of something beautiful, and the implementation of something so far worse than what we have ever seen in the history of this nation. But if we can get it together within ourselves, we are not a mess. We aren't. We are chaos. Chaos being cosmos. We are divinity in action right now. And divinity does not create by 1, 2, 3. Divinity is like, smash it all together. Let's see what happens. That's how we came about. And that's kind of what's happening right now. Let's create a polarity. Let's smash them together. Let's see what happens. Let's see where the consciousness takes itself. And we are fragments of the consciousness. That's what we are. We are a singular consciousness creating individuated experience to better understand this. We're basically a freaking science fair experiment. And that's what we are. And we have to cultivate the environment. We have to cultivate the mental and emotional processes that will help us as a people to select the best outcome. For every ending, there is a new beginning. Before every new beginning, first comes an ending. Something's ending right now. What are we going to usher in? We're swinging wildly. Let's usher in something ugly. No, let's make it beautiful. Let's usher in something ugly. Let's make it beautiful. Or how about we just stop swinging for a moment, because I'm getting a little bit seasick with all of that swinging. Motion sickness sucks. So card number 35, conscious connections. We've become so disconnected from each other. So disconnected from each other. That is so easy for organizations to further divide us. It's so easy. Push a little button, trigger a little few emotions. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. If we allow ourselves to see how society has been functioning for multiple generations now, you say certain words, talk about certain concepts. There you go, division. Very easy. Very, very easy. We have to stop allowing ourselves to be so easily manipulated. We don't all have to agree. We don't all have to be on the same page. We don't even have to have the same book. But we do have to have a basic level of respect for life, respect for sentient beings. We all have to agree to some minimal level of dignity, allowing people to exist with dignity. We're not asking to dismiss illegal behaviors or anything like that. We're asking for a check to be placed when it comes to power. We are asking for the removal of the ability to abuse that power. And so we have to be very clear what we want. This swinging, it better be for something. We better be swinging that wrecking ball to take down whatever constructs that have imprisoned us within ourselves. Mental and emotional enslavement is one hell of a drug. I tell you. It's like that experiment with these monkeys in a cage. They allowed an opening at the very top of this cage. It's a huge enclosure with an opening up top, and in the center was a structure that monkeys could climb to escape. And what they did, they began hosing down the other monkeys. Anytime a monkey tried to escape that matrix, they hosed down the other monkeys. And it didn't take long before the other monkeys were the ones that were policing the monkey that was wanting to escape, that realized there was a way out. And that's what they've done to us. A way out of this matrix? Oh, no, people will tear you down. It's time for us to stop doing that. It's time for us to really understand all of this is in our head. We have been programmed since infancy. We have been programmed. And it's time for us to reprogram whatever this is in our head. Okay? You can do that. That's what makes me so different than other people. Because of my upbringing, my parents were always at work. I didn't have a babysitter. So I raised myself. I wasn't programmed. That's what makes me so different. And then people would be like, oh my God, you didn't have anyone there. I feel so bad for you. You poor thing. What do you mean, poor thing? That kept me from being programmed. This is why I can think so viciously. I am a free thinker in every sense of the word, because I did not get programmed in childhood. And the few bits of programming that I received, it was very easily undone because it was far and few between. So now you guys have to recognize you were programmed since childhood. You are programmed with your family's personal biases, with your culture's personal biases, society's biases, religious bias, all kind of things. And you have to undo that. Instead of focusing on someone outside of yourself, recognize the swinging within yourself. Because yes, within society, we are experiencing spiritual mitosis, but we are also experiencing this within ourselves. Part of you wants to do something. The other part of you is like, no, you can't do that. That's like, no. That's like, no. And I don't know what the answer is, but I do know you have to listen to yourself. You have to listen to yourself. Stop listening to the programming inside of you. We can't exist that way anymore. That matrix is being dismantled right now. That's what's going on. You can have whatever opinions you have of people who are protesting. That's fine, but understand they're not fighting for just their rights. Whatever happens after this, it applies to every single last one of us. Whatever happens after this, it applies to every single last one of us. Okay? So whatever you feel, no, we're in this together. We're not in the COVID shit together. That's bullshit. But whatever happens with the changes within society after all of this is done, we're definitely in that shit together. We're definitely in that shit together. It's not going to be like, we're going to create these rules just for certain people. Okay? No, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. We either take our power back right now, and I don't know how, or enjoy licking the boot of your oppressor that's on your neck. Okay? Those are our two options. Those are the two options. Remember, the system that has existed is a system that led up to what is causing people to be so furious right now. Rightfully so. Rightfully furious. If you think you're going to fix this system, the system works the way it's supposed to, the way it was designed. Okay? It's working perfectly fine. So if you're not liking this system, then we as a people need to come together and create a new system. Am I speaking of anarchy? No, I'm not. Most people wouldn't survive anarchy. What you're seeing in the streets right now, that's fucking anarchy. That's the start of anarchy and the transition before it becomes a peaceful thing where everyone, we've destroyed everything. So now we all just got to be farmers and barter. And if you're going to be like out of pocket, we're all armed and we'll take care of it. And that's anarchy. Behave yourself or someone's going to fucking make you behave. There's no set of rules. Like, this is my space. You behave how I say in my space, or you're going to have a consequence. That's anarchy. Okay, these people talking about, they don't fucking know what anarchy is. They don't realize what anarchy is. Some people think it's just farming. Yeah, that's part of it. Some people think it's just like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. Yeah, that's part of it too. But understand there's other people out there that's going to do what the fuck they want. And if what you don't want and what they don't want is not the same thing, y'all going to have a problem. So what we need right now is to create order within ourselves, because from chaos comes order, right? From chaos comes order. So we need to create order within ourselves and allow that to be reflected out. There's a lot of swinging going on, and you can either enjoy the swinging or not, but just know every swing towards one specific polarity will create ripples of change in your personal environment. If enough of us allow a specific type of change, one that includes everybody, opening up, allowing ourselves to expand any areas of narrow-mindedness, this can turn out to be a very good thing. A very, very, very good thing. And although I'm not for riots, maybe I'm just all over the place. I'm not for riots, but hey, if you didn't want to listen when we were speaking peacefully, when we were gathering peacefully, well, we're going to have to find another way, aren't we? Aren't we? So I think a lot of the things that's going on within society right now is definitely a reflection of what's going on within each of us, whether we've spoken about it or not, whether we feel we're justified in our feelings of disappointment or anger. It doesn't matter. These are things that are going on within most of us. Okay. So card number 35, 11th house, friends. This is a time for you to allow yourself to be supported by the people who love you. This is a time to allow yourself to be held up. You know, if you feel like you can't stand anymore, allow the people that love you to hold you up, okay? To be able to support you. Know that many of us, we consider people our friends, and these people, they don't really consider us a friend. You have to use discernment. Look at that. It's like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and talk shit about you to our mutual friend. I'm going to try and push you out because I want what you have. There's a lot of that goes on. So we have to be careful about who we confide in, who we allow to know what our weaknesses are. And it's not necessarily that you have to hide your weakness. It's that you have to recognize not everyone has your heart. Not everyone is a reflection of the goodness that's in you. Sometimes people will pretend to be a friend, but they really aren't. Okay. Yeah. Smiling assassins. Yes. Yes. So the Father, it's time for us to allow our masculine to kind of regulate our emotions, to support and protect our feminine aspects. We have both masculine and feminine. Okay. And it's time for us to rebalance both, to allow ourselves to be okay with protecting our most vulnerable things, our most vulnerable thoughts, most vulnerable emotions, allowing ourselves to really just be whole in ourselves. Okay. We exist in a patriarchal society, but that masculine energy is a very toxic, unbalanced energy at this point. I'm not saying men are toxic and unbalanced. I'm talking about the way masculine energy has been cultivated for so many generations. Okay. So many generations. And now, you know, part of what's going on is there's a rising and empowering of the feminine energies. And we have to allow the masculine and the feminine to come to some sort of middle ground where they're both empowered in different ways and they can support each other, and coming together within you, you become a totality instead of continuing to exist in a duality. And that's very possible. That's another thing that makes me very different, is that I exist in a totality versus a duality. I embrace all aspects of myself, my light and my dark. A lot of the teachings that are being spread right now by spiritual people teach one-sidedness. Like anything dark is evil. We're here to save. No, you're here to experience a duality and then eventually recombine it into a totality. If you're going to save someone, save yourself. Save yourself. You're here to experience the full motion and emotion. Card number 17, what is already with you? You have all your answers with you. You already have certain types of events that your soul has planned for you to experience in this life. Now, some events that affect just you and your learning, you can decide whether you're going to experience that or you're going to avoid it or what have you. Now, events that involve other people witnessing what you're experiencing and growing just from witnessing that, that's not avoidable. It's not. And people will be like, what about free will? Again, free will has to do with your personal experiences that just affect you. Experiences that are co-created and agreed upon by many, many souls, those cannot be avoided. What's going on right now is a circumstance where many, many, many souls, I even want to say every single last soul here on this planet right now, agreed to experience this period. Yes, we still can shift the details, but in the end, what this leads to is the liberation of the human mind, spirit, emotion, all of that. We become very liberated. And how we're going to get there, how long it's going to take for us, that's really decided by everyone involved. But no matter what, this ends in a beautiful way. There might be a lot of really dark, ugly before we get to that beautiful ending. But I know in my heart, I've always known ever since I was a child, the ending of this is beautiful. It's powerful. And it doesn't just empower the few. It gives us all back our power. All of us. All of us. So now we have to really task ourselves to begin manifesting, bringing to fruition a gentler transition period. Yes, this is a transitionary period. And we, as a collective whole, can choose for this transition to become more peaceful, become one that's more easily tolerated without as much casualty, destruction, amplification of disharmonic energy, or we can just keep going with the way it is right now. No matter what, this can finish. Might take a year, might take 2 years. It's going to finish. And at the end of it, we all come together. And that in-between period between now and the finish, we're all deciding how that plays out. Okay. All of us are deciding how that plays out. I don't know what the answer is. I'm not even going to begin to be like, this is what we need. I don't know what the answer is. And maybe I'm not allowed to have the answer because y'all need to stop listening to other people. You guys need to start thinking for yourselves. What do I want? How do I want to bring this about? Not, well, Emmie said, who the fuck is Emmie? She's just some girl that talks to her computer. She should not be anything major. She should just be a person. I'm talking in third person. I should just be a person who helps to give confirmation to the information, the guidance that your soul is already giving you. You are not to live your life based on what I'm saying. That's insanity. Okay. For someone who doesn't really believe that there's anything that happens in this life that's crazy, like, yeah, no, everything's within the realm of possibility. Taking my word as your life instruction, that's crazy. That's crazy. That says a lot if someone like me said that's crazy. So feel loved and feel proud. Wait. Yeah, feel loved and proud. Allow yourself to love yourself and be proud of who you are. People will be like, oh my God, pride is a sin. Okay, whatever. I should be able to appreciate and celebrate myself. That doesn't tear anyone else down. If your celebration tears someone else down, that's not a celebration. Okay? That's a psyop. Just saying. Just saying. So love yourself. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate your life. Celebrate everything that you've been through, even the dark shit, because it's the dark shit that helps you to understand the light shit. Okay? Second house, owning. You have to own your life. You have to take accountability for the things you decide to participate in, the things that you're complicit in. We have to just begin really owning what we're experiencing right now. We have to release that belief that this is just because one community needs our help because they're not. That community is strong enough to deal with this shit. What's happened is we have been programmed to believe we're not strong enough. That's what's going on. This is not just about one community. We as a whole have been allowing ourselves to be trampled on. That community has just received a bigger portion of it, and it's been recorded more. I mean, think about this on a soul level. How powerful do you have to be on a soul level to volunteer, to agree to come here and experience that type of oppression? Is not a weak soul that's going to volunteer for that. Is not a weak soul. So if you think this community is weak and we need to like, no, they are not a weak community. I will tell you that much right now. I remember lives where I was a part of that community. We were not weak. I tell you that much right now. One of the first lives that I recalled as a child was being a part of that community, living on a plantation, experiencing the brutality. And at no point was I weak. At no point. And I remember that shit. I absolutely remember that shit. And I tell you, a lot of us have lived so many lives. If you think the life right now is the only life you've lived, the race right now that you are is the only race that you've been, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I believe I've been practically every race at this point. Some a couple times because I enjoyed those lives. We have to remember these are human rights things, that this is a period of really rectifying what human rights are, what that basic level of dignity, basic level of legal accountability. We have to correct this abuse of power because it's just escalating and escalating and escalating. It's about an abuse of power, an overreaching, a disrespect of human life, human consciousness, and it has to be corrected. First, we have to correct it within ourselves, where there's this part of us that's like, oh, well, that sucks. Glad it's not me. Oh, okay. Okay. Glad it's not you. Well, because of complicity, it's now going to our neighborhoods. It doesn't really matter where you are. It doesn't. And this is what we chose. In one way or another, the decisions we've made as societies have led us to this point. It is not just one community. We, as members of society, allowed this to happen, and a massive correction needs to occur. And if that has to be done through peaceful protesting, beautiful. If that has to be accomplished through violent protesting, well, shit. I don't really want that, but I don't know any solutions. So I'm just going to keep working on myself, holding myself accountable, speaking up when I feel called to speak up, being quiet when I know what I have to say is not going to help usher in a solution faster, and just really being accountable for any ways I have been complicit in what's going on. And we all have to do this. It doesn't matter what community you're part of. It doesn't matter how much money you have in your account, what tax bracket you're in. It doesn't matter who you know. Yeah, none of that matters. You have to hold yourself accountable for the ways in which you were complicit. If you're not being vocal, you don't have to be in the streets protesting. You don't have to be part of, and you know what? The looting shit, that's not protesting. Y'all are fucked up. Y'all are fucked up. Destroying our own communities. That's some fucked up shit. Let me just, oh, this stuck. Let me just get one more card. We have to allow ourselves to grow beyond this feeling of hopelessness and helplessness. We have to. I don't know if maybe, you know, if you're good at writing letters, good at incessantly tweeting government officials, and, you know, I don't know. There has to be some way to do this where we can affect change in ways that are more than just violent and destructive. But again, riot is the language of the unheard. Hey, coming from one of the most peaceful protesters, riot is the language of the unheard. And maybe if there's that going on in the streets, and then those of us who are not participating in riots, protests, whatever you want to call it, maybe if we're sitting in the comfort of our home and making a big fuss on social media about what needs to happen, the changes that we demand as a people, maybe we can be done with this shit, because I'm really sick of this shit. It's necessary. Yes, it can be necessary, and I can still be sick of it. It's okay if you feel sick of it. We're still going to go through it. You don't have to be like, yes, yes. Like, no, I don't like what's going on. It stresses me out. It makes me feel frantic. It makes me feel like I need to be violent too, and I don't want to be violent. So it's okay for me to be honest and say, I'm sick of this shit. I want this shit to be finished, but not just finished because we've been shut up once again. Finished because we have achieved the level of change that's necessary for humanity to continue walking forward with dignity for everybody, without the abuses of power in any region towards any community. So as long as that's not accomplished, I can be as sick of this as I want to be, but this shit's still going to continue. But you have to allow yourself to be honest with your feelings. It's okay for you to be tired of this shit. It's okay for you to feel angry, to feel cheated, to feel whatever it is you're feeling. But just know, none of this stops until we have equality and peace. We have justice and peace. My girlfriend Takesha, oh my God, her words are always truth bombs dropping. She had mentioned, and if you guys haven't seen the live with her, you definitely should. That was from a few days ago. But she mentioned how we need justice and peace. And that's so true. We can have both. We should have both. It's not one or the other. Turquoise Lotus Mother. Turquoise Lotus Mother brings precious healing to you now. Allow yourself to be lifted out of your struggle. An old pattern is finally in its death throes, something that weighed heavily on you from your past. This can be one of the most testing times to allow something to go, just when it seems to be so demanding of your time, focus, and attention. Yet do not doubt, you have actually learned the lessons it required of you, and now you're being blessed with an opportunity to receive karmic healing. Oh! Mm. Mm. Wow. I felt that real deep. As an empath, my heart is exhausted. It's exhausted. I can't deal with much more of the ugly shit in this world. I just can't. I can't. When other people hurt, it hurts me. And I don't understand why it wouldn't hurt you to see another person hurting. And maybe I just never learned to human right. I don't think I ever want to. I don't think I ever want to be able to be fully part of that human existence, that human experience. I can't. I'll never be okay with other people being hurt, being harmed, being disrespected. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you look like. And it's just, how much more does humanity need to go through? How much more? Does it need to be your child that's murdered in the streets? Does it need to be you that's afraid to go out? Do you have to experience the injustice, the abuse, the lack of opportunity? Do you have to experience that? Or can we just kind of come to a point where enough is enough? Whether I experienced it personally or not, enough is enough. I will not stand for this, and I will not be quiet. I will not sit down. Enough is enough. And I think that's what we have to get to. I think that's probably where we're pretty much at this point. I think that's probably where we're at. There are some lessons in our process of spiritual growth that cut right to the core of our being. That challenge us so deeply that even as we learn the lessons and practice the wisdom, we can still struggle to outgrow the grip of the pattern. No matter how hard we try, we might not feel that we are ever going to be able to completely release the challenge. And no matter how much we grow, there is still a thread of the past that hangs on. We need a spiritual rescue remedy if we are ever to be free of the clutches of this persistent pain. The compassionate and spiritually powerful nature of Ma Kuan Yin as a turquoise lotus mother seeks to bless you with karmic healing so that you may be lifted from your struggles and can simply leave them behind you now. Your soul has learned what it needed to from the situation, and it has asked for a divine hang-up so that it might continue on its divine path of growth without unnecessary karmic weight pulling it down. Listen to your guidance now. Notice if you feel inspired to visit a healer. Listen repeatedly to particular healing music. Go to a class or meditate at home at a particular time or just more often. These are attempts by the Divine Mother to reach you through available channels. Divine blessings of karmic healing can flow from the spiritual world directly to your soul, but oftentimes they are more effective when coming through a human channel of a high vibrational level. Be as open as you can be to guidance to allow the divine karmic healing to reach you. Her turquoise nature cleanses and protects your energy field, and her lotus heart shines through to your own heart, bringing you peace. The Divine Mother within her simply wishes to nurture you into greater spiritual freedom. This oracle also indicates that if you've been working with crystals, turquoise in particular, to continue to do so as it's empowering for you and is helping you to heal, whether you are completely conscious of this yet or not. So healing is necessary. Healing is very necessary. We have to consciously choose our healing. We have to consciously choose to allow ourselves to see our wounds for what they are. Aspects of us that need our attention, need to be taken care of. Ignoring a wound doesn't necessarily heal it, especially if it's been allowed to fester for so long. And our wounds as the human race have been allowed to fester for far too many generations. We made certain types of progress many generations ago, and then we kind of just left it at that. We swept it under the rug, and the rug's just been removed. Now we have to really see what it is. We have been ignoring the very aspects within ourselves and within society that needs to be addressed. Okay, guys? So if you could please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, Please do subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Join me every single time I'm live. Bye, guys.